My name is LaSonya Whitt. I do a little bit of hosting, comedy, and poetry, and just having a good time at whatever I put my hands to do.
All that stuff about you naked down, you said, what's that deal? But was they still coming?
How I got started? Well, we could go back to how I got started with poetry. I got started with my first poem, and I was at work, and I was thinking, I was talking to God, like, man, I can't dance, can't sing, I don't got no gifts. What can I do? Like, what did you put me here to do? And these words, I just wrote on a napkin, just came to me. It was coming up to Father's Day. And I was trying to tell my dad what I thought about him, and these words started flowing, and that's how I got my first poetry. So that's exactly how I got into poetry, just trying to figure out, what can I do? Do I have any gifts and talents? So that's how I got started into poetry. And then because I did poetry, a comedian, young lady, saw me performing my poetry, and she told me, oh no, you can do comedy. All them stories you tell before you do them poems, you are funny as you can be. And that's how I got into comedy. And then hosting, I would do at different events because of my personality. They would say, hey, this event is okay, but if you would host it, you got such a huge personality, you take over. We want you to do hosting. So I got into hosting. I never considered myself a comedian, and even now when people laugh, I get shocked. I'm like, well, why are they laughing that hard? You know, I'm telling stories about my life. So I'm good at storytelling. I'm good at storytelling and poetry, or I can tell your story in poetry. If you give me a paragraph, I can write a poem for you and tell your story. I can think of different things and I tell stories. And on stage, I tell stories about how I grew up, different things that happened. And at the time, it doesn't seem funny, but in retrospect, the way I tell it, people think it's hilarious.
I've been in an apartment for 10 years. And you got a house that I didn't know I had, and I'm finna get the mortgage lowered on it, baby. That's God. That's all God. So, baby, I'm getting blessed. So you know what I'm talking about. I said I had to ask her 4 times. You sure you got the right number? Yeah, we got these names off these.
So I write a bit. I like poems because people call it poetry, but I think I tell stories with a rhyme and a time. I will say that because I have a theme, I have a beginning, you have a little drama, and then you have the ending and how it turns out. So I like to say I tell stories with a rhyme and a time. And then some people think of it as poetry. So I guess I classify it as poetry because other people classify it as poetry. But that's what I think of it. I just tell stories and they have a rhythm to it. And so I put it together and wrote poetry. And I wrote my first book, From My Heart to Yours. Just released my second book, The Issues of Life. And it deals with different issues that people go through. I give you a way to think about what you're doing and how your decisions, right or wrong, can change or impact the trajectory of other people's lives, including your own.
Every time I feel I'm doing a little bit better, someone comes along and makes me wonder whether I can withstand another trial or test because this pressure y'all's caving in my chest.
I love to host. I love interacting with audiences and crowds. I love to make them laugh. I love to make them feel better. My theme for my life is your life should be just a little bit better because you met me at an event, in person, or in life. I intend to make your life better because I came into your atmosphere. Oh, they're gonna have a ball. They're gonna get a big bowl of personality. Say anything. I see it, and sometimes I say it. Sometimes that works really good on stage, and sometimes in real life you can get in trouble. But I have a good time, and I don't mean to harm anyone. I bring a variety of humor, laughter, and thought-provoking things when I come into an event.
Doing up in here today. Yeah. God is good. Look at him up in here. He just all over here eating greens, beans, tomatoes. You know, yeah, they got it all in here. That's what I'm talking about. Y'all know I be watching the news. Some stuff be disturbing me. But let me tell you, I was flying recently on the plane. And you know how the people come out and they tell you to grab the mask and they show you how to do this stuff. Let me tell you what happened. The young man gets up and he tell everybody, you know, he said, pay close attention to these instructions. In case of a real emergency, the flight attendants will not be available to assist you. And I said, and I'm looking around like, everybody on their iPhone, on their phone, nobody paying no attention, but I'm real disturbed. I said, now wait a minute. And he said, I repeat, pay attention to these instructions. In case of a real emergency, we will not be available to help you. So I said, even if you weren't going to be available, don't say it. So I'm on the flight and I'm nervous the whole time. Father God, don't let nothing happen to this particular flight because ain't nobody going to help me. When people tell you who they are, believe them. You know, that's what's wrong. That's why we be dating all these crazy men. They done told us, I'm wrong, believe him. I ain't taking care of no one won't have a job, believe him.
What's wrong with me? And as soon as he tell me no, younger, I took it harder. Now I take it better. Because I know he know what's best, but as a part of you think, well, what am I missing? What's wrong with me? Am I not normal? Am I not worthy of it? Like, what is the problem? Right. So he crushed me when you're doing right, and it's just as painful as if you get it all wrong. I mean, just life in general. I mean, doing what God tell you to do, man, somebody tell you it's easy, I won't talk to him.